Assalamualaikum and good evening to Madam Nur Aisyah Fatwa and my friends. Neighbors are people who live next door or near to us. If we live in a neighborhood with good neighbors, we are fortunate and blessed. Good neighbors are extremely helpful and make our stay safer and more enjoyable. A good neighbor should have high moral principle and respect the other people that live in his or her community. Such a neighbor would be reliable, respects one's privacy, and never gossip. Civilized persons live in communities, so they have neighbors, so they have to communicate with and accept. However, it is my belief that a good neighbor should be a good friend in the first place. A good neighbor is someone who respects other people and helps them if necessary. In my opinion, good neighbors are rare and some people do not even know who their neighbors are. First of all, a good neighbor is not noisy and they do not ask you personal questions. In addition, they do not make a lot of noise when you want to relax or sleep. Good neighbors are so willing to help you if you need them. In other words, a good neighbor shows kindness or helpfulness toward his or her fellow humans. To be a good neighbor to someone in distress. There are some qualities of good neighbors. The first quality of good neighbors is friendly. So now, we will come to our first invitation panel, which is Ashraf Zofran, to give a talk about friendly.
Okey, Assalamualaikum. Boleh dengar?
English.
We live in a society that comprises of all sorts of people, and the only way to live happily with everyone is by communicating and maintaining healthy relationship. The same rule applies to you and your neighbors. Good neighbors are friendly, exchange pleasantries, and they make it a point to check up on people residing near them if they have not seen them in a while. Uh, this means is I can save her home while he back to the village. If you also do these things, your neighbors are lucky to have you, and vice versa if you have neighbors who look out for you as well. After all, everybody likes to have friendly and helpful people around them. That's all. Thank you. I pass Edekai Akmal to host the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashraf Zofran, for the good explanation. And now, we give a space to Haziq Nakuddin to give a talk about polite. Please.
For me, as a society of Malaysia, we know that Malaysia is a multicultural environment. For example, in Malaysia, it has Malay, Chinese, and Indian. They live into one neighborhood that using a same spirit, which is Malaysia Bersatu. But now, the most scary thing happened in Malaysia. It is because of Malay, Chinese, and India always fight because of a small thing. And most of them happen in the neighborhood society. So that they do not grade each other. For me, the most important thing to have if we live in neighborhood society is we need to have a polite value. It is because if we have a polite value, we can control ourselves when we talk with other people around us, and maybe a new people in our neighborhood society. We also can ask for an apology if we make a mistake, even the mistake that we make is simple. Plus, parents also need to be a role model to their children to show this polite attitude, so that children are not clumsy to practice it. Before I pass to Kai, I think polite value is the most important thing to have if we live in neighborhood society. Thank you.
Thank you, Haziq Nakuddin, for the beautiful explanation. When we live in a neighborhood, we must have a good attitude. For example, reliable. So let we hear Hazrin Irfan to give a talk about reliable.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Irfan. Thank you for the host for lending the opportunity for me to talk. For me, one of the most loved and appreciated qualities of good neighborhood is reliability. There are times in life when we are faced with unexpected situation, and it is when we need people around us to help us out in whatever way they can. For example, when us Muslim celebrate Hari Raya Aidilfitri or Hari Raya Aidil Adha, of course we want go back to our hometown to celebrate the Hari Raya with our family. And sometimes maybe our hometown are far away from where we live now. So for the safety of our house, we can ask our non-Muslim neighbor or Muslim neighbor that not go back to hometown to look after our house, and we can celebrate Hari Raya happily. So then we not have to worry about our house being robbed by robbery. We also can save our money for install the security equipment like CCTV or alarm at our house. Last but not least, I think reliable is most important attitude that neighbor should have in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Hazrin Irfan, for the explanation that you have given. So last but not least, let's we give a space to hear Amma Haikal to give a talk about responsible in neighborhood life.
Okay. Thank you to Kai for giving me such an opportunity to talk about this. So, the last point of being a good neighbor is to be responsible to each other. For example, a responsible neighbor is a neighbor who maintains harmony in society, such as not making noises so that it can disturb other neighbors. This is because they are neighbors who have just returned from work after being tired of earning a living for their families and want to rest at home calmly without any interruption. Other than that, as a responsible neighbor, we should help the society if there are any big event being held, such as helping to complete all the necessary necessities during the running ceremony. So the preparation will be fast. That is my argument regarding the importance of responsible neighbor in society. Thank you.
Thank you, Amma Haikal, for the good explanation. Having good neighbors is important because it makes our life in a neighborhood safer, happier, and more fun. We also tend to have more peace of mind. Although we can choose our friends but not our neighbors, we must remember that we get what we give. As the saying goes, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Therefore, we should at least try to be good neighbors in order to build good relationship with our neighbors. To begin with, it is in human nature to need someone when you are in critical situation. And sometimes you would like to have someone whom you can turn when you are in dire need of piece of advice. I believe that neighbors are very close people, and being a good neighbor is a duty that everyone should fulfill. It highlights the basic concept of give and take, as a neighbor is the nearest person to one in the darkest hours of the night also. Therefore, one should always be a good neighbor so that he is also treated in the same manner when he is needed. So, retrieving a good neighbor has become rare. We can self-start the process of being good. If we take any initiative to become a friend of our neighbor, then we can definitely retrieve the same honor in return. It is said that friendship begins when we first become the friends of others. So we have reached an agreement that the most important is neighbor is friendly, because having a friendly neighborhood is used all to have fun and enjoy. In conclusion, friendly, reliability, responsible, and polite are four main quantities of a good neighbor. Because reliability develops the good relationship, and the relationship remaining for a long time, and friendly helps so share ideas frankly and enjoy together. So that's all from us to talk about neighborhood in our life. Thank you.